be seated. Okay, so I'm going to in advance ask for your patience and ask for your trust. And I'm also going to ask you to do something, which is why I'm asking you for your patience and trust. Okay? Patience, because I'm hoping that I don't close this sermon, which is now only here, nowhere else. So, if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say to this mulberry tree, be uprooted and planted in the sea, and it will obey you. Faith is one of those words that gets tossed around a lot, doesn't it? It's the subject of many great quotes and even Bible passages. For instance, we have a leap of faith. We have faith to move mountains. A faith bigger than our fears. Faith is the appearance of, the assurance of things hoped for. We encourage people to have a little faith. But what does that really mean, to have faith? He replied, if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say to this mulberry tree, be uprooted and planted in the sea, and it will obey you. Here are some synonyms for faith that might help you get some thoughts together. Confidence, trust, belief, credit, assurance, acceptance, expectation, hope, conviction, sureness, loyalty, truth, certainty, reliance. In its purest essence, faith is really just the ability to let go and let God handle it. Faith is realizing that we are not in control. That it isn't all up to us, and that God's got this. Faith is the ability to lose control of your life. Faith is the ability to place that control assuredly in God's hands, not even knowing what may happen. Not in charge. Not in control. Remember, Rich shared with you what Paul wrote to Timothy about, I have not given you a spirit of timidity or a spirit of fear. Faith is the ability to lose control of your life. What's the worst thing that could happen? What is the worst thing that could happen? In your little ziplock bags, you've got an index card, and if you haven't already taken it out and played with it and lost it, you have your mustard seed. Right? I want you to remove the index card, but try to keep the mustard seed in there for a little bit longer. I can get one too. Anybody else need one? Okay, and you should have, hopefully you have a pencil. Thank you. Judy, for sharpening all the pencils. You have to come here with pencil, baby. Here, let me hear this. Okay. What is the worst thing that could happen? Find a spot with your body language where you're comfortable to write down something very sensitive on that card. You don't need anybody else looking at you. Write down for me, please. Write down for you. What is the worst thing that could happen? Think about that for a moment. Put your biggest fear on that card. Then I'm going to ask you to fold it up so that the words are inside and nobody else can see it, because nobody else is going to see it. What is the worst thing that could happen to you? What if you lost control? What's the very worst thing? Maybe at this point in our lives we've already experienced what we hope is the worst thing that could happen to us. Think about losing control of your life and what could happen. Right? Just a word or a phrase that only you need to understand. Nobody else is going to look at this. When you've done that, fold your card up, put it back into your Ziploc bag, and try to take out that mustard seed. We have extras if yours escapes and rolls around on the floor. Already happened?
No, it didn't happen.
Well, you've got a very small amount of faith, I think. All right,
That's all I need.
that's all you need, you're right, that's all you need. Anybody else need one? Nope. Fingers are too tiny again, or too clumsy. We gentlemen often have trouble with getting small. Okay. Not very big, is it?
No.
Not at all.
Mine's gone.
Is it a surprise to anybody that the God who uses the greatness and smallness of things to make a point chose a mustard seed? So while you're doing that, he probably needs the whole jar. While you're doing that, while you're between your two fingers holding that mustard seed and contemplating how small it is, let me give you a lesson on mulberry trees. And I have a beautiful picture. You're going to have faith in me that what I'm telling you. Mulberry trees, which includes figs, breadfruit, and rubber trees, are known for their ability to sustain growth in a variety of climates and soil conditions. This is primarily due to their healthy root growth characteristics. They have a tenacity for putting down roots. Even when the branches and fruits above ground become sparse or debilitated, mulberry trees have the most invasive and secure root system. You don't want them around your sewer lines. You don't want them around your foundation. They're tough. So what Jesus is saying is you can take this mustard seed, and with that amount of faith, you can command to a mulberry tree, which is never going to get pulled out by human hands, to go ahead and pull itself up and be deposited in the seed and grow there. He likes to use the little and the big to make a point, which he's doing here. Uh-oh. We're good. It would not be easy to pluck a mulberry tree out of its soil. It would be very difficult. There's quite a bit of difference between a mulberry seed, a mustard seed, and a mulberry tree. So, how can faith, the size of that mustard seed, allow one to transplant a very tenacious mulberry tree? It can't. It won't. It doesn't. You can't. Because it's really not about how much faith you have, but how powerful is the God in whom you place your faith. Your very small mustard seed amount of faith. It isn't about the mustard seed. It's all about the God who created that seed. Hang on to your seed. I'm going to try to share with you some headlines from the past. These are in another document, which is no longer available to me, so I'm going from memory. I think I'll do the best I can. Here we go. Authorities searching for boys who bullied their brother. Last seen fleeing into Egypt, a boy in a brightly colored coat, who had been left in a ditch to die by his brothers because they were jealous of him. Ripped from the headlines. Here's another one. Rescuers find baby abandoned in a small handmade boat. During a period of brutal slayings of children, one child survives and is immediately placed in protective custody with the palace. Overcrowding in a census center forces unwed teenage mother to give birth in a barn. What was the other one? It'll come to me. Is your situation what you shared on your card with yourself? Can that compare with being an abandoned child put into a boat by the rushes of a river, the mouth of a river in Egypt, hopefully to be found by somebody who will not kill you as they've been instructed to do, but will raise you up in the palace? Moses went on to lead an entire nation to the promised land. A boy running away from his brothers in a brightly colored coat. Are you with me? Joseph became Pharaoh's right-hand man. He went from being bullied by his brothers and thrown into a ditch, half buried alive, to become the second most powerful person in all of Egypt. Baby born in a barn, redeemed you and me. Unwed mother, teenager, pregnant, no roof over her head, strange land, has a baby. This is the king of the world. This is the king of us. So now, let me ask you about your problems, your worst case scenario that you might have written on your card. Can it compare? Maybe. Maybe to us it can. Bullying, overcrowding, abandonment in a boat, sold into slavery, battling armies, fight. Oh, that was the other one. Youngest child is drafted into the army as a teenager. Plucked from the fields where he was tending sheep. This child says, "Oh, yeah, I'll win your battle for you." Mustard seed. All of these situations would probably cause anxiety and stress, maybe depression, maybe thoughts of futility. All of these situations could cause one of us to feel lower than even a mustard seed. But it's not about the person or the situation. It's about the power of God. What happened in each of these circumstances? God was certainly in charge, making the best of those seemingly small mustard seed-sized people and problems. What is the worst that could happen? That thing, that phrase, that word that you shared with yourself on your card, that was your headline. That was your worst case. That was the thing that relegated you to the size of a mustard seed, possibly. Now, imagine God stepping in, taking control, taking charge, making the best of that mustard seed problem. Will you take a leap of faith? Will you have a faith bigger than your fears? Will you allow God to move the mountains that stand in the way of the best thing that could ever happen to you? Will you dare to hope for better? You can't move a mulberry tree, but God can. It doesn't really matter how much faith you have. It matters that you do have faith, that you're willing to lose control, that you're willing to trust God with the life that God gave you. Amen.